average great Americans all across the country have been flocking to town hall meetings to voice their opinions on health care reform. And here tonight, we've relocated to Studio D and invited real Americans, you know, people that pay their taxes, obey the laws, and, you know, contribute to society, to have our very own town hall focus group. And joining me now is pollster and president of the Word Doctors, our own Frank Luntz. Frank, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Are you sure they pay their taxes?
Anyone here? You all pay your taxes?
Now, before we get started, I want the people at home to see this. How many of you voted for John McCain? Raise your hands. 14 of you. How many voted for Barack Obama?
Wow.
15 of you. Dead even.
Oh, no, one more for Obama. So just it's a tainted group. Right?
But it's perfect because it represents America as we know it. So let me ask you, Barack Obama, is he delivering what he promised, yes or no?
No.
Who says he is? Show of hands. Who says he's not? You're that disappointed. I want people who voted for him to explain why you're disappointed. If you voted for him, why are you disappointed?
Too much compromise. To me, he needs to be a little bit more forceful.
Why are you disappointed?
Big business that runs everything.
Can I go back? Are you saying that he's not liberal enough? That he's not pushing change enough?
In some instances, absolutely. I think that the thing that I admired about George Bush and Dick Cheney, even though I didn't vote for them, was the fact that whatever the issue was, they got it done.
Okay. And you're agreeing, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think that he's just bowing down to conservatives too much, that he's really not sort of taking a hammer to this thing. You know, when George Bush was president, he got his, like my friend over here was saying, he got his agenda through. I think Obama has to do the same.
Barbara.
Oh, God, this is such junk. I mean, my God, we had 8 years of $1 billion a month towards Iraq. If we had taken all that money for a war that was false to begin with, we would have the best health insurance in the world right now. We wouldn't be going through this now.
But that was his platform to get rid of the war. Meanwhile, he kept Bush's agenda. So
You can't just leave.
Well, that's
But that's what he said.
Go ahead, Peter.
that's a little, not necessarily totally true. He hasn't just kept Bush's agenda on Iraq. I mean, he's pulling people out, but once you get there and you're privy to all that other information, sure, maybe your plan should change, and they should.
Can we give him a chance? I mean, since the day he took over, nobody gives him a chance. The Republicans, he's a pariah. You know, he's our president. Stand behind him.
Could I ask you, we found out today, though, that the debt in the short time he's been in office has quadrupled since he's become president. In 1 year, he's quadrupled the deficit. Are people supposed to be quiet?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm in shock at what I'm hearing. We have somebody who ran through a stimulus. We have somebody who's Mirandaizing terrorists on the battlefield. Are you kidding me? He wants to put terrorists in the streets, and this is not harsh enough for you?
He hasn't been in office for a year now. I mean, he came in to try to take over and put this government and put this country back in the right direction.
I think that's the right word. I think he's trying to take over, and he's trying to make the government take over just about anything you can think of.
Can I ask a question? How many of you think that he's fundamentally changing America in ways that nobody imagined?
In a good way or bad way?
Good way.
Who says one at a time? Who says it's a good way? Who says it's a bad way? Now, socialist is a very strong word to use.
I think that he was voted the #1 leftist in the entire House of Representatives and Congress, and still maintaining that position. He's radical all the way through.
Go ahead.
He could be the most honest politician I've seen. He promised change, and we're getting lots of change. I don't agree. I didn't vote for him. I don't agree with it, but he's delivering what he promised.
But didn't he try and sell himself as more fiscally conservative, tax cuts for 95%? He said no earmarks. He gave us 9,000 earmarks. They're not even reading these bills that they're passing.
This is not the change that I want.
He's changed.
Go ahead.
This is not the change that I want.
Go ahead.
And he said he was going to be transparent, and nothing so far has been transparent. I mean, almost nothing he does.
I have written to him 16 times.
This is a coordinated monthly EAS test. This local station is testing the Connecticut Emergency Alert System. If this had been an actual emergency, official instructions would have followed the alert tone. This concludes this test.
themselves openly.
Affected by
One at a time.
When you pick up your phone right now, or when you email anybody right now, there's somebody already taking your information.
Oh, I don't believe that. So
Bush never did anything like that. Bush was 100% unreasonable.
Yes, ma'am, Rebecca.
But what's scarier is it's citizen on citizen turning on each other. That's not what we're supposed to do.
Let me ask you this. When we found, can I have one more question on healthcare? When we heard that they wanted to push this healthcare through in 2 weeks period of time, and we know that they didn't read the stimulus bill before they passed it, $787 billion is a lot of money from our kids and grandkids. But when they wanted to pass it through, do you think that they really weren't taking into account your opinions? How many of you think that they were not being considerate of the American people's point of view here?
But now they would argue that the Republicans had 8 years and nothing happened.
And didn't Bush pass the first bill? That was on his watch. That wasn't.
Well, Barack Obama and the Democrats voted for it.
What? Yeah, of course.
Michelle.
Yeah, I felt very safe with Bush, and that was a prime issue for me. And the fact that anything that he would do would be clamped on very quickly.
He created a crisis that doesn't exist. The system's not perfect, but it's not broken. People aren't lining up outside of hospitals dying. There's specific problems that need to be addressed. You don't need to trash the whole system.
Let me ask you a question. Are you mad as hell?
I'm very angry about that.
How many of you would say by a show of hands that you're mad as hell?
Oh, yeah.
So is this why people are yelling and screaming at town hall meetings? Does this justify it just because, David, you're angry?
Yes, I think the politicians have taken on this elitist mentality that they don't want to listen to us anymore, so we're going to try to make them listen to us, and if this is the only way to do
We
it.
have one last question. Is it just that they're passionate? I mean, we see, for example, stay-at-home moms. We see the elderly. We see veterans. We see fathers pushing children in wheelchairs. And the politicians refer to them as mob, as un-American, as political terrorists, as mobsters. Do you think the Democrats have overreached in these attacks?
Absolutely. I'd be willing to bet a year's salary that the people that are yelling at these town hall meetings are the same exact people that think Obama was born in another country. It's the same group of people. I know you've given a forum to that.
Hang on a second. Well, I'll tell you what, Frank, this is a great focus. This is a town hall debate. You guys are terrific. We've got a lot more to get to. We have more with Frank Luntz, more of this town hall focus group coming up right after the break.